podcast with Smitty and myself, SimFBallCritic. And we got a little bit to talk about tonight. Not a whole lot, man. That's why we're kind of getting started a little later. Sorry about that. But not a whole lot to talk about. This will probably and more than likely be the last show of the year. We'll take next week off and just allow everybody to just get ready for the holidays and things of that nature. And we'll come back in January. And like I said, it's not really a whole lot to talk about, man. At least, when we come back, we'll have playoff talk and things of that nature. I know some people were asking for us to cover that on tonight's show. And, maybe we'll breeze over it really quick. But let's go ahead and jump into it, man, so we can get done in a timely manner. So first and foremost, I'm going to throw it to Smitty. How was everything going with your week? And also, how are you feeling about not just the Lions team, but maybe some of the decisions that they've made here recently in the front office? So how's that going?
Man, I mean, right now, I just got to say that the Lions are messing up, man. You had Caldwell who got you the wins, got you to the playoffs 3 of the 4 seasons he was here. But Quinn said it wasn't good enough, so you gotta get rid of him. So you get rid of him. Excuse me, I'm chewing. Sorry, but you get rid of him, and you bring in your buddy Patricia. And I was talking to one of my friends the other day about this after we heard about the extension. If anything, Patricia should have been hired as the D coordinator. Terrell Austin goes, bring in Patricia, keep Caldwell here, make Patricia D coordinator. Reason being, and this is the reason why I say this, all these guys that have showcased success, because sometimes that point is made. You bring up Rod Marinelli and what he's doing. Well, I think he's over at Green Bay. He's part of their staff. It's like, yeah, but he's not a head coach here. He was terrible as a head coach. You look at what's my man, Jim Schwartz. I liked him as a coach, to be quite honest. I think he got cut off too early, too soon. I think he should have been able to. He should have got at least another season, maybe two more. But he leaves that head coach role. He's over there. He was doing his thing with the Eagles. Heck, he was over there helping with their defense. I don't know if he's a D coordinator or whatever it is that he's doing, but the bottom line is he's not the head coach. And he takes a role that plays key to helping the success of whatever franchise he was at. And he's balling. So it's like when I look at, you know, what this situation with Patricia, it shouldn't have been head coach. You know what I'm saying? And I know some people get on this case and some people clown him because but the Eagles were able to beat you and that was his defense. That was his defensive play calling and his scheming and it's like, okay, I'll give you you say that. But at the same time, it was also his defense that shown up in the Super Bowl against the Falcons. Now, mind you, he had a bad first half would be atrocious, right? But then the second half, though, you see what I'm saying? Tom Brady didn't get them opportunities to score on offense without that defense. So clearly, Patricia made some switch ups, and I mean, don't get me wrong, having Belichick as your head coach, that ain't nothing to scoff at either. That's a key thing too. But still, your defensive play made a big time impact as to why things went the way they went. Now, you come to Detroit, you ain't really doing anything. You know, you make these questionable moves. You got old Lions players just chiming in, you know, having things to say about Patricia and Quinn and things like that. You know what I'm saying? In regards to making change ups and everything that should have took place. And I'm like, yeah, it should have. But they're doing it with the wrong people. You don't get rid of Diggs. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, what are you doing? Why would you get rid of Diggs? He goes somewhere. Now, I will say this. The only player that honestly they can look at and say, okay, yeah, we ain't really messing anything up there, is Nevin Lawson. Because he's not that sound of a corner. Like, he can make plays at times, but I would say he was like a third or fourth round draft pick or something like that. And he's like an average to below average player in the league. So he's never top tier talent. He was, you know, he was decent for us, but he wasn't great. So it's like I get it. You know what I mean? I understand. But the bottom line is that to see all these other pieces that were standing out excel elsewhere than outside of Detroit, that all says a whole lot. You know, I think I touched on it. I'm not sure if I touched on it last week or not, but I mean, you got Lake and Tomlinson doing this thing with the Niners. Like, he's key on their offensive line, and he's killing it over there. You know, Riley Reef with I don't know if he's still over there in whatchamacallit in Minnesota, but he was doing good work over there. Like, I'm watching games with him in there. I'm like, dang, how come he ain't do that for us? You know, like, how come he ain't balling like that for Detroit? When he was in Detroit, he wasn't playing like that. And see, that's my whole thing. It's like, for these guys to be able to hang Kyle Vanoy. I mean, come on. To see these dudes be able to ball out like that, and it's like, oh, when they take the Lions uni off, all of a sudden they know how to play ball. It's like, no. These guys are being coached up the right way. You know what I'm saying? Along with the talent that they bring. It's like, we ain't not really doing anything like that here in Detroit. That's why we want to lose as much as we possibly can to try and get that top pick. That's pretty much it at this point. So, yeah, it's all down the toilet, man. That's why I'm just like, man, we ain't playing for nothing. There's nothing really to be happy about or desiring or anything like that, you know, when it comes to this team right now. That's why that Buccaneers game, keep that same energy up. I wish that they could do that for the whole season. Don't go to the games, barely go to the games, and the ones that do go to the games, throw them signs up talking about Martha Ford needs to sell the team, or, needs to be fired. So needs to be fired, or something like that. It's like, yep, that's what needs to happen at this point in time. Because no, these decisions, nope. So, but I'll stop it there. I'll throw it to you, Sim. And what's up, everybody? Hollywood, what's happening? Marauder, what's going on with you, man? But I'll end it there, and I'll throw it to Sim.
Yeah, man. I'll be brief with it in terms of Steelers. Look, y'all still know my stance. I still feel the same way. I'm not expecting anything out of this season. They still have a chance to get to the playoffs, but they played a good defense against the Buffalo Bills, and we saw what happened. All right? Duck Hodges came back down to earth. Duck Hodges looked more like Howard the Duck. He came up short, and that's just the point of it. But hey, listen, we'll see what they do. They still have a chance. Do I think they can go beat the Jets? I think so, just looking at the talent, across the board. But again, facing a Greg Williams defense, I'm pretty sure Greg Williams is going to try to employ the same type of defense, that the Bills did. I'm pretty sure he's going to borrow from that blueprint. He's going to bring pressure. It's going to be a very similar outing for Duck Hodges, and this time he'll be on the road. So we shall see. And then it's very possible that the Steelers will also need a win in Baltimore the following week, which we don't know, what Baltimore is going to do and if they feel like they need to play their players. So, like I said, man, to me this season is just watching to see what's going to happen. That's all I've been doing, and we shall see. I have no expectations whatsoever for my Pittsburgh Steelers because the offense is just not powerful enough. They're not where they're going to need to be. So, there you'll have it. But outside of that, guys, man, let's get right into the action. Probably won't be on but so long tonight. Of course, we're going to be done by 10, but, we're going to try to be brief tonight. There's not a whole lot to talk about, man. So, I'll set it off. I'll definitely give my quick thoughts on the Madden Club Championship. Then I'll throw it to Smitty. Then we will also talk a little bit about, a couple of you guys, maybe 2 or 3 of you guys had the same topic. You wanted us to discuss how we feel about MLB The Show, the news that it may possibly return back, or not to say return. I guess we should say it will be spreading its wealth and, being on both consoles. That would be interesting. So we'll dive into that. But first, man, let's get into the Madden stuff, Smitty. Well, you know what? Now, let's do that in reverse. Let's talk about the MLB stuff first. Because, Madden would probably give us a little more of a lengthy topic. So I'll dive into the MLB The Show stuff first. I'm going to be very brief with it. I think it's good. I think that's a very good thing if the MLB, and MLB The Show and that franchise is able to be on another console. Because let's just face it. Everybody has their opinion. They have their preference. Some people like PlayStation. Some people prefer Xbox. And to me, I hate when games are exclusive to one console anyway. Only because, kind of what I just said. Not everybody is going to be on the same console. Not everybody is just going to play Xbox, and not everybody is just going to play PlayStation. A lot of us, real gamers out there, a lot of us have been duped. And yeah, I'm going to say duped because you can't spend with so much time on one console anyway. But a lot of us have been duped into buying both consoles at some point in our lives. And, in our lives, we've done that. Some of us have also gone as far as buying a gaming PC. And in this generation, I can say I have all 3. I eventually got an Xbox One, didn't pay a whole lot for it. I started off with the PS4 in this generation. I upgraded to the PS4 Pro. That worked out in my favor. I was able to sell my regular PS4 for exactly what I paid for it. I don't know how I did that. And then, I ended up getting a gaming PC. For multiple reasons. I needed another PC anyway. But gaming definitely influenced it. So my point being, I never think that, it's a good idea to have a game on one console. How is that fair to gamers? Number 2, you're going to make more money. I think you're going to make more money if you're on both consoles. You know what I mean? I mean, you just do the numbers. And, don't take a genius to figure that out. Just do the mathematics, man. More people that can play, the more opportunity you have to make more money. The more opportunity you have to really be in that mix of being recognized as one of the best sports titles on the market. Because keep in mind, guys, we say that, us extreme hardcore simulation guys, we acknowledge that even if baseball is not our first sport. But there's a whole lot of people that don't even pay no attention to it because they don't even realize the game is being made because they play on Xbox. You see what I'm saying? So I think if you spread your wealth, spread your wings a little bit, allow multiple people to get their hands on it, I think that will allow people to start, giving it or at least putting it in that conversation of being one of the best, like legitimately being in the conversation, not just a group of us, but being recognized as much as an NBA 2K. I feel like definitely MLB The Show has the opportunity to do that. So that's all I got. I think it's great. I don't have any objection. Real quick, I will say this because somebody asked me this earlier in the week. Do I think it will hurt the product? I don't think so. Smitty can probably vouch for this, but we kind of know how it works. Just dealing with Madden. What I mean by that is, I'm pretty sure what's going to happen is, Sony basically they will port it over to Xbox. Pretty much how Madden has done things, like when they went over to different generations and such. The game is made on one console and then it's ported over to the other, and then, it's tweaked to be optimized on whatever platform it's running on. So I don't think it will affect the quality of the game. I don't think it will be, that won't be the issue in my opinion in terms of just getting it going. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think it's a good idea. Shout outs to San Diego Studios, man, if that's really going to happen. And yeah, it'd be a great thing to see. So that's all I got on it. What you think, Smitty, man? You in favor of it, against it, like it, love it? What you think?
No, I'm with it. I'm with it. I like it because, excuse me, because at the end of the day, that's more like you said, Sim. Excuse me. More hands are able to get on it. More people, are able to be exposed to it. And I mean, think about this too. You look at Black Ops, the new Modern Warfare. I saw a tweet yesterday. Somebody put it out. I guess they, checked the stats on it, and they said that it's by far the most played version of Call of Duty ever in the short period of time that it's been out.
Wow.
I don't remember they talked about. They talked about sales figures. I got to get a bottle of water after I talk. Goodness gracious, hiccups. But I don't know. I don't know if they said the sales figures, but they did say though that I forgot how many people they said are online playing the game every day, but it was a ridiculous number of people that play the game thoroughly, and the game ain't been out that long. And see, a key thing when you talk about multiple consoles, the cool thing about it here with Modern Warfare is that it has cross-platform capability. So what that means is like, I played Modern Warfare. So I've played with people that are on Xbox and PC. Like, I'll literally be in a match.
That's crazy.
Where you got people on. There may be 3 or 4 people on the 4 or 5 people. 3 or 4 people on PC, and 3 or 4 people that are on the box, and we're all going into a match. You see what I'm saying? And the thing is, we're able to communicate. So, like, I'm able to talk with everybody just as if, like, everybody's on the 4. Excuse me. So, when you cross-pollinate your game like that, and you give it to people like that, and you build it out like that, it's only going to bring good things to you, especially when you make a high-quality title, which we all know MLB The Show definitely is that. So, I like the announcement, and I think who was it? If I'm not mistaken, I want to say Sony San Diego put out a tweet or a retweet when that announcement was made. So it was like, oh, they're on board with it. They're completely, all they're all the way with it. It sounds like, no, we saying to Sony and that's it. Like, it's like, oh, okay, cool. You make that game and it's gonna be something that they're gonna be able to play too. That's gonna be tight. That's gonna be fun. Excuse me. So that that is what I honestly, like about that cross platforming. And who knows? Who knows? This game, maybe the first game won't, but once these two consoles drop, maybe they'll have a cross play capability where both players, excuse me, whether you're on the box or you're on the PS5, or even if you're on the PS, well, no, I don't think PS4. I don't think you can downscale, but they need to make it so that both consoles can play, because you already have games uh, out there that you can use as your measuring stick for making that kind of stuff work. That'd be tight. Now they just got to make sure their online servers are on point. But you do that, that'll go a mighty long way. So, but no, that's all I really got on it, man. I'll throw it back to you, Sim.
Yeah, man. So needless to say, there's not anything, that we feel to be against it. Why not? And I think we've laid out our reasons why, and there you have it. I did see a couple things in the chat. Is always, everybody's always going to have a different opinion and different speculations and things like that. I just wanted to comment quickly on one where someone said that Dominic Bowden says he believes that the show could probably pull some Madden and NBA 2K crowd with the cross-platform move. I mean, maybe, but the thing is, man, and again, this is just my opinion because I can only use my own, POV, if you will. It took me a long time to start playing the show because, baseball just doesn't move as fast in the gaming world. It just doesn't. You know what I mean? It just doesn't move as fast in the gaming world. It's not as fun to everybody unless you are a pure baseball fan. You know what I mean? I mean, it does have multiple modes. It has things such as Road to the Show and things like that can kind of keep you more engaged if you're not really a hardcore baseball guy. It also has quick manage and all those type of things, man, where you can swiftly, move through a season. But like I said, it just doesn't, not everybody is going to be into the way the action is presented. It's a very, yeah, like my man Ray just said, it's a very niche type of crowd. And honestly, think about it. Baseball is like that in real life. Not everybody watches baseball, and I enjoy baseball, but I don't watch baseball that often. I start watching it when it's playoff time and things like that, but you're not going to really catch me on a Saturday afternoon just watching a full baseball game. I'd much rather be at the game than watching it on TV. So I say all that just to say it's possible that it, I won't say it will take away from the Madden and the 2K crowd, because you're going to play what you like. It's the same reason, let's be honest. It's the same reason why many people, including a lot of us, even with the problems, it's the reason why we tolerate Madden for what it is in doses, because we love football. It's just that simple. So you're gonna gravitate to what you love. That's just how that's gonna work. Now let's go ahead and get into the Madden talk, man. I'll kick it off. I want to talk about the Madden Club Championship as it's actually on right now. I was watching a little earlier. I did see, what's the kid's name? Joke, advanced. And he was able to take Skimbo out, and shout outs to Skimbo. And you guys know I've said it before. I have my own, a soft spot for Kimbo. I was about to say Kimbo Slice. I have a soft spot for Skimbo because, I've met him. I've met him a couple times and we've had good conversations. He's really a good dude. Really a genuinely good dude. Humble guy. You know what I mean? He's just a good dude. So that, I like Skimbo. I like Problem as well. I met Problem, a few times. Some of these guys are good guys. I think it's crazy the type of reputation these guys acquire because they're playing a video game, like, from the masses. It's crazy to see the type of like hate, if you will, that these guys get, man. It's hilarious to me. But yeah, let's get into it, because I'm definitely going to talk about the whole one play situations and all of that. Here's the biggest thing that bothers me about MCS and just, Madden Classic, all that stuff. Just the MCS and the Madden, club championship and the competitive. I'm not even going to say competitive game style, but the way the competitors play. Let me start off by saying this. I'm not down on these guys. I could care less. I'm not telling them what they should do. I'm going to say what some of you guys might not say. I don't care how they play the game. That ain't got nothing to do with me. You can only play the game the way the game is built. And if you really watch some of these guys, and this is the reason why I watch it. I've told you guys several times. The reason why I watch the championships is so I can really see what's wrong with the game, number one. And also, it's interesting to see the way these guys scheme against themselves, even though a lot of times they're relying on one play, or they only have one thing in their arsenal. It's interesting to see how they play against each other, because it still takes some type of skill to do what they're doing to each other. I'm not talking about a skill of, being good at football or nothing like that. No, I'm saying it still takes some skill for some of these dudes to do what they can do. Whether it's good or bad, whether we hate it or not, you got to respect, how these guys are able to outwit or outcheese each other. Now, with that being said, I've said this before too. I hate meta. I hate the word meta when it comes to any type of sports game. And you hear it more and more when you talk about Madden. Oh, the meta is this. Oh, the meta is that. Oh, when the update comes out, oh, the meta is going to change. Now this is going to be the new meta and all of this rigmarole, right? I'm watching the club championship, and the guys who have Lamar Jackson, which is a whole bunch of them, are running the same play all the way down the field. This QB blast. I watched Joke run it tonight. I watched, what's the kid that was doing the cheesy catching a couple years ago? Oh, Voltarax. Watched him run the same play. And to me just destroys the integrity of Madden as a whole. But again, follow what I'm about to say here. I don't really care what happens in the competitive space because I don't play there. But to me, regardless of the way the game is set, there's certain things that should always be respected. And to me, this is the biggest problem with Madden. And I ain't just going to pick on Madden. I'm sure there's other games that has some type of glitchiness going on. 2K, I'm sure, has had their share of it. And, I don't know about this year, but we all know the glitches with, my player and all of that stuff. So no game is immune to it. But the sore thumb sticks out more in Madden than anything else. And it's the way it's being portrayed. It's just the fact that you can run the same play. Like, the Joke literally ran the same play. And we've been saying this for years. It negates the core things that me and Smitty talk about in terms of football. It lets me know that there's no real AI that adapts to the situation. We know that, but we got to point it out. Fatigue doesn't seem to be a factor nearly as much. We all know that. Hits to the body. And I know I'm getting a little deep into it, but I'm just saying the type of things I would expect to see out of a football game in this year, as well as going forward. Hits to the body should mean something. You know how we always talk about that wear and tear that EA had years ago, in head coach? And then, we praise 2K for having it in their game and other games for having it as well. But again, EA had that idea as well. Can you imagine, again, take competitive out the table. Just take that off the table. I'm just talking about just football. Because let's say, even if these things did matter, right? And they say they turned it off for competitive. All right, whatever. That's your setting. It's for money. You don't want anything, crazy out, any cheesy stuff. I get it. Even though they're cheesing all day long. But y'all know what I'm saying. I get if you want to even the playing field, so to speak, in a competitive environment. Money's on the line. I get it. Would I like to see a real football tournament? Sure. But listen, I ain't playing. And I know there's a whole bunch of y'all that's going to probably hear this and see this. Y'all ain't playing in them tournaments either, even if it was fully sim. So let's stop having our emotion tied to it so much, and let's just take that off the table. The biggest problem is that it still illuminates the issues that we have with Madden, whether it's on competitive or sim. It highlights the things that is missing from the football product. The trenches. Again, wear and tear would be my biggest thing to point out watching the club championship, because come on, man. Come on. These dudes are running Lamar Jackson back to back to back to back. Come on. Now, here's the catch though, Smitty in chat. It's going to get to a point where I'm interested to see when we will have a balance in sports games opinions. And I'm even talking about all the other games as well, not just Madden. Truth is that Lamar Jackson is a cheat code in real life. Who stopped him? Let's be honest. Because I see some people upset at his abilities. And I'm like, well, listen, that's a thin line, because Lamar Jackson has been unstoppable. Remember that move he pulled off against Cincinnati? Y'all remember that? For you guys who saw it, I happened to be watching the game at the time when he breaks out, goes down the middle of the field, hits the spin move. Y'all remember that? That looked like a video game. But here's the catch. Like Smitty always says, like I always say, Lamar Jackson was able to do that because his relative position. And he set that up. Had he not been in the right spot at the right time, that spin ain't going to happen. And that is what Madden is lacking. So I want to make sure everybody's hearing me clearly. I don't have a problem with the way these guys play. I could care less if they choose to run the same defense and run the same play over and over and over. What I care about is the integrity of the sport. There shouldn't be any way that you can run the ball right up the middle, back to back to back to back, same play, and there's no real adjustment. And I know the competitive people, Smitty, always challenge us when we've had these conversations. Well, no, you got to know how to adjust. I get all of that. But we're about to go into a new console of gaming. Shouldn't we get to a point where we can expect the artificial intelligence to have some realism to it? I shouldn't have to make every single adjustment, being as that I can only control one guy at a time. So that's my issue, man. But as far as everything else, I don't, it don't bother me. It don't bother me how they play. I just don't like how the game of football is being represented, because again, it clearly shows the problems. But here's the funny thing. For you guys who have been watching, maybe I'm wrong, and I want somebody to chime in on the chat, or, when Smitty gets on, he can chime in. I haven't seen a lot of warping and motion shifting watching these tournaments. So I don't know if, and I could be wrong, because I only watched a little bit, but I don't know if, there is things that it's looser. Because I know when they originally advertised, even when it first came out, that, user control was more paramount on competitive, which we always argue, well, why is something like that designated to a setting? That's just dumb. I get the randomness you have to throw in there on sim, because you got to get these, you got to get the dice rolls and the ratings to separate things, but user control should be the same across the board, period. But let me see. What was the last thing I want to say before I throw it to Smitty? Here's another thing. I just find this amusing. And this is why when I watch the championship now, I just watch it on YouTube and I cut off the chat. It still amazes me how so many people will watch the game, right? And all they doing the whole time is commenting about how trash the game is. And many guys were saying, I don't even know why I'm watching it. And I wanted to say, I don't know why either. I will never understand the mentality of people who do that. And if whoever hears this, if you are one of those people, and hey, I'm not saying you're a bad person or nothing like that. I'm just saying I don't understand that mentality. I really don't understand that. Don't watch. Don't, it's very simple. I know people say to us, Smitty, it's hard to just say not to play. I get that. I know it's hard to just say don't play because you love football and, you at least can get your football fixed with the game. I get that.
Right. Yeah.
But you ain't got to watch like that. You are clearly making the decision to watch a game. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it, folks. And again, this is just, this is like Big Brother talk. I'm not down talking nobody. I'm just saying the energy that it takes you to do that, you could be doing something else. So now I cut the chat off. I don't even pay no attention to that. I just watch. But like I said, I do watch it because there's a certain, I will go as far as many as saying, I actually enjoy watching how these dudes compete against each other because it's interesting. Sometimes it's the little adjustment that they make. And I'm like, wow. Like, I wouldn't have thought that because I don't know about that particular thing because I don't play like y'all do. But it is interesting to watch these dudes on the top level, especially, let me say this real quick too. Guys like Skimbo will bust most of y'all, like bust your head. Even if the game was fully sim. I'm going to keep preaching that narrative. Now, some of these guys are trash. Let's just be honest. Some of these dudes, they just cheese their way to the top. But if you really pay attention to Skimbo, nah, dog. I can promise you, even in the sim game, everybody ain't going to beat him. Because he knows the game. He knows the game inside out. The same way, and I don't even want to, I don't even want to, mention the name, God bless the dead, but the same way, like the brother, I forget the name slips me now, Smitty. I'm not talking about True, the other one. What was his name, man? Y'all know who I'm talking about, man. Unfortunately, both of those guys, had their lives taken away untimely, but the other kid, I forget his name. I don't know why I'm losing the Tennessee guy. That dude really knew what he was doing. Like it wasn't just cheesing in tournament. No, that dude knew how to play. So a lot of those dudes on that level will smoke of most people who sit on the sideline and saying, spot me. Yeah, God bless, man. But that dude was nice with it though. Like if you really watch him, he was nice with it. Same thing with Skimbo. Again, I told y'all I've been around him. I've been at EA with him. Skimbo will wax most. I'm telling you, he will wax you. He know what he doing. But these dudes have to play the way they play because of the game. Gibbs and Farrell's the same way. They will wax most people in Madden and mold. Even if you turn everything off and say, look, you can't do nothing cheesy, they'll still get you because they know what they're doing.
Yeah, them boys know how to play.
They still nice. But anyway, man, that's just my my long rant about it. It's unfortunate, man, because the things that I'm so dearly missing from my football product is on display in the worst way when you watch the tournaments. It's like, wow. They just make certain things matter. Like they're trying. They've been trying to do it with trying to get fatigue to matter more and all of that. But think of how much more interesting it would be to watch these dudes really have to adjust and really have to focus on playing different because now this guy is shutting down his what he thought he was going to be able to do for the day. Now he got to adjust. You can't keep running the running back, the quarterback blast, even though it is Lamar Jackson. I don't care who out there. The boy should get tired soon, or them hits should start getting to him. Like, come on, man. Like, ugh. But yeah, I just wanted to say that, man, because and you know what? I keep saying one, but this is the last thing. It goes kind of with the whole, watching it and hating it at the same time. Why do so many people, Smitty, sit in the chat and say how sorry people are? Right?
Yeah.
Oh, this guy sucks. And why y'all ain't up there?
Right.
I don't understand that. Do you know every one of these guys who y'all claim suck is making bread? Joke just ran that one play that he ran. He got $20,000 just that quick, and he ain't done. Skimbo has made an excess of up to about 300, maybe more than that now. But they were saying tonight, he did just under. He didn't get to 300,000. But just think of how much money this dude has made since Madden 16 when they brought it back. So y'all can say what y'all want. I mean, it's just a game. So I'm never gonna go that far and knock those dudes for playing a video game the way the game allows them to play to make money. I ain't never mad at that. Have your competitive, but just give us at least a side of the game where we can represent real football the same way we feel when we play 2K or, to a degree, because they ain't perfect, but the same way we feel when we play FIFA and these other games. That's all I ask for. Even if y'all can find a way to completely separate the game, fine by me. So my last point again, I am not blaming the way these people play. It is a video game. Cheese your life away. I don't care. Make your money. But it illuminates my biggest issues with my football product. That is my biggest problem with watching the tournaments. But yeah, Smitty, man, what you got?
Oh, it's a big thing. Number one, you're not even able in Madden. You barely have rules.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But FIFA has all of them in there, right? If NHL held a tournament, they'd be playing with all the rules. More, at least I would assume, they'd be playing with all the rules. So that's the key thing here. It sucks when you watch a tournament play and you only see the same play happen over and over and over again.
Matter of fact, I'm about to check in right now and see what they're doing. Let's see who's running QB Blast right now. Oh, God.
That's the thing. And yeah, we said it, I don't know how many times on this stage. But it's not about the talent. We're not saying, he ain't talent. No. We're not saying that. But these tournaments are all about out exploiting each other, not by football execution.
Right.
It's by video game execution. You see what I'm saying? And that right there is a big part of the issue. You know what I'm saying? If I'm watching a game on Sunday and then it's over and I'm like, oh, you know what? Oh, they got a club championship on for Madden or something? Okay, let me tune in. Man, I'm counting. I'm upset. I'm going to be pissed off. Because I'm watching what's going on there. And understand this too. Even though they talk about, they some guys would clown, especially at me in the past because, I'm not worried about stick skill. Like, you're not using the stick skills? You're not doing it? It's like, no, because if I dial up the right play call, my players should make the proper play. You know what I'm saying? They got to make the play.
QB blast. Bam scheming just scored with it.
Oh man, there you go. See, that's the thing. That's like having a Street Fighter or a Tekken tournament. No matter what version it is, you get martial law, I'm gonna get Heihachi, and then we're gonna fight. That the fights will be extremely lame because nobody's doing anything different. Everybody that's playing is gonna either pick one of those two characters. That's lame. See what I'm saying? So, oh, excuse me. Like, yeah, I really don't know. Like, that kind of stuff has me kind of at a loss. I respect, I respect the fact that there are guys like us that continuously to press on and really want that genuine football gaming experience that we all can consume. See the game on a national stage and still take it as semi-entertaining because of that. With what we have right now and the way it all works, we don't have that. So,
yeah, man.
I don't know.
It's not to blame, just real quick as I'm just looking at this, and dude, Bam scheming just won against Techers for any of you guys that care. And they're showing, they say he wins 20,000 cash prize, total 40,000 in this tournament. And this is my whole point. Like, that's why I can't be mad at the way any of these dudes are playing this game. And Gibbs and Falls schooled me on that years ago. Smitty was there. When, we went down there, headstrong, straight up sim standard. We ain't going for no BS. Nah. And Falls sat right there and unarmed us by saying, I don't like that either. The game shouldn't allow me to do that. I was like, oh, well, okay. That kills my argument. What can I say after that? And when I saw how they were complaining about telling us, like, no, this isn't right. When they tried to fix this, they messed this up. They did this. They put a Band-Aid here. The Band-Aid broke. They tried to bring more Band-Aids. They never fixed the original cut. And I'm like, that changed my whole perspective on how I viewed these guys who play the game competitively. And again, I'm going to keep saying it. When I had a chance to meet more of these guys like Skimbo, Problem, even guys like Mo, right? I realized that, okay, these dudes ain't just some cheesy, don't know what they're doing type of gamers. No, these type dudes who would figure it out. Regardless of how the game is, they will figure it out because I've seen them lab and find things that I didn't even know about. Some of these dudes, like, they know the game in and out, and it would be the same way if the game was simulated, as far as a simulation product, because some of these dudes, they have to know football to understand how their route combinations and such are going to work. So I think that's the misconception. And guys like Zan, I mean, heck, guys like Kia can go out there and play that tourney style if he wanted to, but he know football. You understand what I'm saying? So Kia can, he doesn't share with everybody, and I'm sure he doesn't mind me saying this, but Kia has been way up on the leaderboards before. Like very close to making a club championship. He's had the opportunity. But and even I've noticed it's probably certain things that he still ain't really gonna do because it just ain't his style. You know what I mean? He's still a I want real football type of guy to the heart. So it's certain things that you ain't gonna really see him do. He just understands the exploits. So yeah, man, when you look at it like that, and again, maybe it's because, listen, you call it maturity, call it whatever you want to call it. I just can't be so rah-rah no more like I used to in terms of, because I know the game now. Until I see the game physically changing, I feel like, Smitty probably would agree with this. I feel like we have brought it to a certain point We have brought it to a certain point where we have got some helped to get some changes implemented. And let me explain to you guys how we did that. This is what you guys probably don't know. Let me just give you a quick history lesson. Quite often people want to know, what do the game changes do, and or whatever they're calling it now. There's more so influencers or whatever. What do we really do? How do we help? Blah, blah, blah. Well, we started finding out after a couple years going down there. Really what we do is we often re-emphasize what many in-house developers want done. And they use our feedback to push along their own agenda. That's really what we do. Okay? We are a representation of the community. Because think about it. Let me break it down for you guys. There's a such thing that's called social media, right? It's this place where you can put your opinion out there and you can contact other people. You ain't got to see them physically. You can just put a little @ sign before whatever name they choose to use, and you can fire away feedback. And then if that ain't your thing, you could also go to this other place where you can upload videos. Yeah, you can, did y'all know that? You can make a video and people can watch what you're doing. You can show them what you're doing and they can watch it, and you can share it with them on that other platform with the little @ sign. So it's this thing called social media where you don't necessarily need a program of selected individuals to get feedback. You don't need that. But what we actually do, again, select individuals that they feel will provide beneficial feedback and be the voice of the community. But also, our main objective that I've noticed, and again, Smitty will agree with this, what we typically do is provide, and have done over the years, provide the feedback that we would love to see in the product. And quite often, there's devs in-house who feel the same way. They take that as ammunition up into the next production meeting and say, see, told you, we need to go in this direction. And sometimes those things actually get changed and get updated. You know, there's been many times that Smitty's been there, where they've told, and Azure's been there too, where they've come down and be like, thank you. I was just in a meeting upstairs saying this. Now I can show them on the whiteboard. That's why we tell y'all, you know, in the post-mortem, tell us exactly what's wrong. Now I can go show this to the guy above me that was kind of fighting against this. So that's really what the influencers do, if y'all really wanted to know. Now, unfortunately, for whatever reason, you know, Smitty and I didn't go to EA last year. Who knows? Who knows why? Who knows why we didn't? I don't know. So we didn't have much involvement as far as face-to-face contact with Madden 20. We'll see what happens in Madden 21. But y'all remember this? Didn't I tell y'all that? Well, like months ago. Remember, months ago when I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, all of a sudden the involvement is not the same. And that's just because of me just looking ahead and kind of peeping the landscape and, you know, seeing how things are going. And it's not to say that, you know, we won't be heavily involved in Madden 21. We'll see. Because, you know, more so the road that we took this year is it's kind of from the comfort of your own home. We're still in heavy contact with them. And, you know, we have private chats and all that kind of stuff. But me and Smitty didn't have the opportunity last year. We didn't have that opportunity to go down to EA Sports. We shall see what happens for Madden 21. But I just thought I'd throw that out there, Smitty, because, you know, as we continue with this thing, I mean, we're so many years deep now. I just want people to always understand, you know, the headspace that I'm in. And a lot of times I can say that we're in, but I don't never want to, you know, act as if I'm speaking for you or Azure. But a lot of times we are both, or the three of us, are aligned. So I always just want to keep our audience, you know, informed of that. Like that's why we're not so buck wild, you know, like we used to be. I mean, again, there's other people who choose to do that, and, you know, God bless them. Go ahead. You know, I guess that voice is great too, but when you know exactly what the problems are, and it's very clear, then what am I screaming for? You know, at this point, EA Tiburon. I'm going to keep saying that because I want people to not miss our point. We say it every week. It's not that EA Sports is not capable. All of those other games, with the exception of 2K and, with the exception, obviously, of MLB The Show, the other games that we talk about are made by EA Sports. So it's not like they're not capable and they don't know what to do. It literally comes down to, okay, we have avoided doing these things in Madden. When are we going to just go ahead and allow the developers to go back and, input these things that need to be there? That's really what it comes down to. Priority. And I will say this, Smitty, and then I definitely want to, hear your thoughts on this overall. I kind of know where you're going to go with it. But let's just talking about the abilities really quick. After them now being introduced, and now we've had a good amount of time to see them, and we're still seeing some peek their heads back, not peek their heads in, but some are still happening and being created. I still will say overall, I still feel like that was a huge step in the direction into where we want the game to go. Some people can't see that at the moment, Smitty, because it just seems like, a glitch, or it seems overpowered. Obviously, we're talking about guys doing the QB blast with Lamar Jackson. I get how it can seem that way, but I still feel like they had to do that if we're ever going to get the game to a point where the real life counterparts, their skills and talents are showing up on the field. You had to introduce that. And now that you've done it, now you need to do all of the other back end things. All of the stuff that me and Smitty talk about. You got to make all of this stuff matter. Then those skills will really jump off. If you make a guy's relative position matter, if you make physics always matter, weight and momentum and physical mass and leverage, if you make all of those things mean something, then bruh, introducing these abilities were golden. Because it's, to me, again, it's no different than, and listen, I sit in my league, and that's where I play, so I can't speak for the whole game, but it ain't no different than badges. That's why I don't understand why it gets so much push. Like, we need it. I don't know no other way, unless I'm naive. I don't know any other way to accomplish that without some type of ability or skill system. Every game has it. Even MLB has the quirks and all of that. It's just, executing on, delivering your implementation, and you have to execute on it. That's the only thing. It ain't where it should be, but I see huge potential in these abilities if they fix everything else around it. Real quick, Smitty, I see that Ray says next gen will look like NFL Sunday, but will it play that way? And that's the thing, too. We gotta stop. And I'm not saying Ray is doing this, but I see many people in the community doing this, Smitty. We got to stop saying, well, man, on Gen 5, this guy is, well, on Gen... Why are we saying that? Why? Right. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I'm saying that, guys, is every other game we are comparing it to is on the current gen. Why is it that why do we feel like Madden has to be on another gen to get it right? I don't see why people don't get it. That ain't the problem. If that was the problem, 2K wouldn't be as, packed as it is, and as good as some people think the game is. Because, there's people who hate it. But that game would not be as detailed as it is and as robust if the limitations had something to do with these consoles. We got to stop thinking about that. We got to, man, and again, that's how I'm giving my feedback now. I'm going at the top folks. I'm not even, y'all notice y'all don't hear me talk about devs that much no more. I keep saying, Tiburon, what y'all gonna do? The people in charge. Don't keep feeding me this crap, man. Like, what are y'all gonna do?
Right.
Fix this game. Let this game grow. Stop playing around and go to work. You know,
Yeah.
so that's my thought,
Yeah.
man. I went off for a long time there, but how you feel about the abilities, Smitty, man? Do you still feel like it was a good idea and they just need to execute them better, or would you rather see them scrap them and try something else?
No, and they need to stay in the game, but they got to be modified big time. Like, it's like I'm like I get it how people call it the gimmick and things like that, and especially if you play the game and uh if you're playing the game and you got you know I don't know, it's just like once again that zest for football doesn't resonate with
Right.
Madden, and that's a bad look. But then when you play other sports titles, even if you're not necessarily, the big soccer fan or the baseball guy or whatever, like I don't know, it's just crazy because the game just does not. It's not a game that honestly, you know what? This is where I'm at with it because there's like so many different thought levels to it. This is where I'm at with it. EA got to invest in Madden. When I that and that's the simplest way about it. You know, regardless of Ultimate Team and all that, they got to do better because you know, look at Jedi Fallen Order, how that game came out, how that game was received. Yes, I know EA published it and that was it, but that's all they did. They let those people hire who they need to hire, do what they needed to do, so that way the so that way the game is phenomenal, and it is. Fallen Order was off the chain. That game is ill, but when it comes down to it, Madden is treated like that redheaded stepchild compared to these other games. And it's like, what are you doing holding on to that status? Like, you know, actually put forth investment. Like, make the game feel, make me believe that, oh, dang, yep, EA really did. They put that work in this time around. Why you say that? Look at how this game plays. Look at how the visuals are. Look at all the stuff they did. Look at how they revamped the modes and carrying on. Like, that's how you gotta roll. And the game has to show it at the end of the day. Why you got all these football minds in that studio working on this game, yet look where this game is at. You see what I'm saying? And that's the issue. So that's where I ultimately am at in that regard, man. That's all I really got on it.
It's funny, man, because there's a lot of undercover things that I ain't gonna say undercover, but they appear to be undercover because they don't get the shine. A lot of things that Madden is doing that if the game, play was where we wanted it, and let's say it had the depth in franchise, we would be ecstatic about some of this stuff.
Yep.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, it seemed like a small thing, but that whole NFL live playbooks, bruh, that's serious. That's a real that's a dope little feature on the low. Being able to, if anything start changing. So think about this. Let's think about last year. Let's use Lamar Jackson as an example. Baltimore Ravens. Joe Flacco is the quarterback. You come out and you got that playbook. Then all of a sudden, Lamar Jackson starts playing and they completely change the offense. And you can implement that in the game immediately with the live playbooks because now it'll start playing the way the real world teams are playing because they can update it like that. Same thing with defense. They throw a little wrinkle and your team start doing a little wrinkle in defense and things like that. Boom. And like I said, that seems like a minor thing, but that's what it's. It would be a whole lot better if you were happy about gameplay. That would have been a big feature. It's those little things. And also, I look at how they choose to market or leverage the game. Think about this for a moment. We always talk about, man, how MUT or competitive Madden should be its own thing. Some people have even went as far as saying it should be a totally different game on a different disc and all that. And I'm not opposed to that. But let's think about what they call that thing, Superstar KO, right? Seeing that they could do something like that, that just gives me reason to think that, oh, you literally could have competitive on its virtually its own side of the disc, if y'all understand what I'm saying. It could completely be a separate mode instead of it being a game setting. And I know the idea was for us to say separate it, and we mentioned that, and then Rex and them did the best they could by saying, all right, we're going to have a sim setting, we're going to have X setting, and then we're going to have blah, 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 arcade or whatever you call it. But really all they did was adjust sliders, which is a start. But looking at how they can completely take KO or Superstar KO, whatever it's called, and literally put it in a different mode, I'm looking at the vision of saying, okay, couldn't you build that within the game to where competitive is actually a mode now, which we all know is MUT. But I'm just saying, I feel like there's a way to have the game literally be different when you're playing competitive. No like real similarities if you're gonna go that route, because clearly it clearly seems to me that they're not willing to just let football be football. It's almost like they still want to cater to everybody. So if that's the case, do a better job of separating. Go deeper with making franchise and simulation being a totally different experience than competitive and MUT. It's like, even if you're gonna, do it the whole Band-Aid way, I still don't think they've done that to a great extent. Enough to where it matters, to where we feel a difference. And that's the biggest detriment I have to them, man. Is like I said, man, it's hard for us to sit here and admit it. And Smitty knows as well as I do, it's hard to just say, look, man, you got to find other things to do. But that's just really what you got to do. I've been able to find a comfort zone where in the 32-man league it's still fun, just interacting with everybody and, playing against each other in a simulation environment on a sim setting. Still cool to do that. But I just don't get the same level of enjoyment out of Madden that I should. It's just is what it is, man. And, we've come to that conclusion at this point. Ain't nothing we can do about it. All we can do is wait and see if the day ever comes that they decide that they're going to get this game where we want it to be. And that's it. That's really it. We have to wait and see. Nothing we can do about it, boys and girls. It's unfortunate, I know. But yeah, outside of that, man, I'm thinking, is there anything else? Somebody said, what do we feel about the... Hold on, how do you feel? Yeah, we kind of covered that a little earlier, official, about, we... In all, we said it's a great thing. Great thing for the gamers. I think it's going to be a great situation for MLB, more exposure, be able to get the game in the hands of more people. So we have no objections to that. Somebody said, how do we feel about the Patriots-Bills game? I don't really care too much, being as that, the Steelers looking like, and let me just, for the record, y'all know how I feel. I don't think Pittsburgh going anyway, even if they get in the playoffs. It's not happening this year, so I really don't have any expectations. But seeing as that the Steelers were unable to beat the Bills, I don't really care about what happens this coming weekend. I would say, and I'm not being a hater, but I would prefer to see other teams going head to head that don't include the Patriots. I'm just tired of seeing the Patriots. I just got to be honest. I don't have no hate towards them like some people do. It's just, I'm tired of seeing them. I would rather the Bills or somebody, if they could somehow get the division, or, even though it's Baltimore, I'd rather see the road go through another city than New England. You know what I mean? But other than that, I don't really care. I'll be watching, just like everybody else. But that's about all I got, man. Is anything else, Smitty, that we might want to cover as a side topic before we get up out of here?
I really don't have anything else, honestly. Don't have anything else. I'm with you on that, from what you were saying there. But yeah, that's it, man. He said, oh, okay. Get off the Madden train. Look, guys. The key thing to understand here is this. Unless the NFL says we're going to change this up, nothing's going to happen. Unless the people on a grand scale say this has got to change, that's got to change, this got to be this way, and they say nope, I'm not buying, I'm not playing, none of that stuff, nothing's going to happen. Going to this next console, I would hope something drastic does happen in terms of the way the games come out, like the quality and all that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we know as a community whole, folk are not going to step up. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, man, I ain't with this no more. I ain't having it. Nah. There's going to be plenty of people that are going to be witnessing it and getting the console and all that stuff. Oh, excuse me. So, it is what it is. But look, we talked about this in the past. Star Wars Battlefront 2, right? Community impact. They have this new edition they put out, and I mean, if you already had the game, like I had the game already, they put out an update for it. All the maps, and I mean, they went ahead and re-reviewed it. You know what I'm saying? They did a new review for it and gave it an 8.8 for that Star Wars now. But remember, it was originally because of the way the construct was when it came to the game at first. And it got spotted quick. That changed the game. So, it got spotted quick. That changed the game because the loot boxing, the ridiculous grind, and how long it took to progress your character, and you barely was able to play as a hero or a villain. Now, man, they straight unlocked everything. I mean, all the content, Sim, everything, even the Skywalker related stuff to the movie, same deal, all over the place. I'm like, see, looking at this, that's exactly the point. You got like if people are gonna make real change, you got to make a change that's gonna hurt them, hurt the game. And with next gen coming out, nobody's gonna do that. Ain't nobody about to do that.
Nobody does it now.
Yeah, they're
funniest
not
thing.
gonna do that. It has to be something super egregious for that to happen. That's what happened with Battlefront 2. And EA had to write the ship. They had to write it. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, yeah, like I said, go ahead. That's it. So,
you know what else is funny about that, man? And I guess we can wrap the show with this.
mm-hmm.
It's always funny when, and I know, like my man said, DJ313 said, he didn't mean it in a bad way, just stop talking about Madden. Here's the funny thing. Y'all won't let us. Y'all won't let us stop talking about Madden. Every single time we ask for topics, it includes Madden. And if it was up to me, I don't need to talk about Madden at all. To be honest. I mean, beyond the point of, okay, it released, we give our thoughts on it. We don't say nothing else about it unless they drop a update or something that's worthy to talk about. I would love to not talk about Madden regularly, but the audience y'all won't let us do it. Like, I honestly feel if we weren't talking about Madden, there would be no Sim Standard podcast. Because every single time, then we say, what y'all want us to cover? It involves Madden. And quite honestly and quite often, we're having this same conversation week after week. And, I mean, listen, me and Smitty has had this conversation for years. And a lot of this stuff, some things, yes. The game has progressed since we got involved. Yes. But I think we're getting to the point where, all right, we at this little, this little creek or this little pond, if you will, and the only way we can go further, we're gonna have to build this bridge. Sorry to tell you guys, not all of us, some of us can swim, but me and Smitty, we ain't we can't carry 10 people with us. We could swim and maybe carry one person, but we can't carry 10 of y'all. The only way we're gonna get across and go beyond to the next level, we're gonna have to take some time and build this bridge. And once we build the bridge, we can cross and we good to go. That's kind of where we are with Madden. We have gotten this far to where now, again, it's the underlying, under the hood, fundamental flaws. If they're not addressed, this conversation will continue year after year after year. And y'all know the things. We have named them so many times until they get the game to be not relying on two-man animation so much, not relying on dice rolls so much to where it just overrides everything. Not allowing physical mass, stature, weight, leverage to be accounted for at all times. Until they can address those things, we're talking about the same problems in Madden. And that's where me and Smitty are at this point. We're waiting for them to build that bridge so we can cross. Until they do it, this is where we at. Even though, they introduce new things, again, weapons and all of that, or whatever you want to call it. I call them weapons, but y'all know what I'm talking about. The abilities and X Factor. Great. Because to me, you had to do something like that to allow these players to be more like their real life counterparts. And for the most part, I don't have an issue with it. Some of them are a little crazy. But y'all know why they're so crazy? Because of these things that are not in the game that don't matter. That's why the abilities are so crazy, because of the things we just outlined are not there to balance it. If those things worked the way they were supposed to, as far as the physical, all that stuff I just said, I ain't gonna need to repeat it. If that stuff was available, active, and working at all times in Madden, the abilities would balance themselves out. You wouldn't be able to just power through with Lamar Jackson with QB blast. It wouldn't work like that. Maybe every now and then you'll get it to pop, because again, Lamar Jackson is doing this in the real world. So there is a thin line there. But it wouldn't be that you could just spam the same play back to back to back to. Watching the tournament, man, I'm seeing even in the play art, it's the same play. I'm like, wow, they ain't even trying to change. That stuff just, it can't happen, man. But anyway, that's all I got on it, man. Is you guys won't allow us to not talk about Madden. I find it hilarious every time. Every time. It's always Madden. I mean, think about it. Look at our channels. Me and Smitty ain't really talking about like we used to. I'm very lackadaisical, man, with the franchise. I try to do it every now and then, just trying to keep up with this season. Like, I might put out a video maybe tomorrow or Saturday, now that we're 8-6, and, just trying to add some flair to it. But if you really look at what I've been doing, I've become just basically a Steelers channel. I done moseyed away from Madden and other gaming because, those things, I always got boxed in, Smitty, as a Madden channel anyway. So I had to find something else to do to even, have any even reason to, still have a channel. And the funny thing is the Steelers stuff is picking up. I could care less about Madden until it gets to where we want it. That's why I don't even remember. I said earlier in the year I was going to show the online franchise games and all that. Nah, I don't have the energy, man. I just have my fun over there with Azure and all of them and all of us who've been rocking for years now. And that's it. That's it. That's all I can tolerate is a game every 72 or 48 hours, however long it takes for us to advance. Most of the time it's between 48 and 72 hours. And that's it. So, I know that's the long answer, but the sooner y'all stop asking us about Madden, we won't talk about it. I promise you. There's nothing to say until they get it right. But that's it, man. I guess it's a great way to wrap up the year, so to speak. Like I said, we'll go ahead and just take a little break, and we'll come back in the first Thursday of the year. We'll come back and, hopefully we have a little more to talk about and, maybe give some more expectations on what we're expecting from the next consoles and all that. Because I haven't had a chance to read up on everything. I know some information is leaking and things like that, but outside of that, man, I hope everybody has a good night. Hope your football teams, if they're in the hunt, they can get a win this week and next week. And we'll see how the playoffs shape up. We'll see what old Howard the Duck does for the Steelers against the Jets. And if they get in, they get in. But I think we going home in the first round either way. It don't matter. Because right now, if the playoffs started tonight, we got to go to Arrowhead. And that's a loss. So, there you have it. But all right, man, anything else you want to add, Smitty, before we close out?
No, that's it, man. Yo, everybody, enjoy y'all holiday. Enjoy this holiday season. If you got family coming in from town, or you're heading out of town, have fun, safe travels, eat good, share gifts, enjoy each other's company, and, especially you got that, and then going into the new year as well. So, there's a lot to be grateful for. But, no, man, that's all I got, man. So, appreciate all of you guys coming through, especially with the topics.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
We're definitely going to need that when we come back. We'll hit y'all up. Unless we see some news come out or whatever, something that we can really gravitate toward. But otherwise, yeah. So.
Yeah, man.
But
all right, good people. Y'all be good, be safe, happy holidays, and we will talk to you guys in the new year. Peace.